Today, this is our getprobate.cash overview call. I do it every Wednesday, 8:30 a.m. I started this call because I think it's an amazing tool that's way underused. I'm not aware of any other training on the subject. There's very little marketing done by the companies that offer it. And I think it's an amazing opportunity for real estate agents, investors, wholesalers, attorneys, and families in the probate space to get some cash to solve short-term, immediate problems that can have high leverage and high impact on their business. It's a tool that I've used successfully over the last couple of years. I'm going to share with you how I do it. Now, this call particularly is oriented towards real estate agents. So if you're a real estate agent, you're in the right room. If you're not a real estate agent, you can learn about it. And I think it's important, there's an opportunity to learn about it from another angle. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit as I get into the modules and explain to you what I think the 4 modules are. Now, I want to be fully transparent that I'm doing this program every Wednesday, weekly, at 8:30 a.m. Pacific time for the upcoming future. I will miss in 2 weeks because there's a Jewish holiday that I won't be working that day. But generally, this is going to be a weekly event for those who are participating in this. If you want to do it on your own, or you have some experience with it, or you want to learn about it on your own, I'm glad to do this and meet with you and share with you and with other people for free. But fully transparent, I am building out a mastermind group. I'm looking for no more than 10 real estate agents to work with closely and to go into the 4 modules in detail. And so part of this at the end, I'm going to talk about that package. If you're interested, great. If you're not, we'll still do this every weekly, and I'll still be glad to help you on your path. But it's a program, and I'll talk about those details when we get to that. So I don't want to mislead you. I am going to present that, but it's not for everybody. And I don't want you to feel excluded if this doesn't work for you. Even if you're an agent who'll never do the mastermind, I do believe in my heart that this will be of value. That's why I'm doing it regularly. So let's jump into it. So what is Probate Cash? Now, one thing it sounds like is a loan, and it's not a loan. And that's a very important legal distinction. A probate advance is when an heir, somebody who expects to inherit property, gets an advance of that distribution. In probate, the heirs, whether you're a petitioner, as an executor or administrator or personal representative, or you're one of the other beneficiaries or heirs of the estate, if it's a probate in California for sure, and in most states, you can't get any of that distribution until the end of the probate process. So you file a probate, it can take 6 to 9 months. If it's a lightning fast process, the average is 2 years or more. The average property isn't being sold for 2 years because the way mistakes are made along the way. And regardless of when the property is sold, the money sits in a trust account and only is distributed at the end when the judge agrees to all the accounting and all the taxes have been paid, all the creditors have been paid, all the legal fees identified. That's when the distribution happens. Sometimes heirs have a property and they don't have the cash to convert it into the best outcome. And common examples are people inherit property from family members, but they don't have the money to hire a great attorney to get the best result, to get that property sold and money distributed as quickly as possible. And so they'll shop for attorneys thinking they need one that will do it on a contingency. And many attorneys are kind of put off by that discussion. They don't want to talk about their fees. They don't want to advance the money in the fees financially. It's difficult for them or costly for them. They may or may not get paid at the end, depending on whether or not you are the heir or not. There's some risk involved. There people come to them with a story. I'm the only son. It turns out really there was another son, or that person's not correct. So attorneys don't want to take that risk in many cases. And I think also that nobody likes to have to talk about their fees. And so when you're tight for money, you're going to talk to the attorney and try to negotiate their fees because you're tight for money, whereas really that shouldn't be the decision. The decision is what kind of value do you want and what kind of money do you have for that? And so what this is a way to advance that money. There's companies that will underwrite you and say, based on the story we have, the property, who the attorney is or going to be, who the realtor is or is going to be, based on the information we have, you're entitled to $200,000 or $500,000 at the end of this process. We'll advance you $10,000, $20,000 or more. No payments due, no interest, and here's the important part, no recourse, because it's not a loan, it's an advance. It's important legally for these companies. They don't want to use the word loan. They don't want to charge interest, and they don't require payments because legally, if they do those things, then they're subject to the laws and regulations of loans, and their interest rates would go down. These are very risky transactions for the bank, for the investor. They're very involved, meaning unlike a credit card or car loan, they have to watch your case, they have to show up in court at times. And so it sounds like they're charging a lot of money. In my experience, they're making good margins, but it's a very high expense business. And I can tell you, having done research, I've literally contacted every company in the business. Of those that were in business 3 years ago, about 5 of them I know are out of business because it's a challenge. It's not as simple as it sounds. So it sounds like they make a lot of money. A typical advance, the minimum is $10,000. And typically the estate pays back 15 if it's within a year, and 20, I think, if it's 2 years or longer. And they vary. Each company has their own formula and system, but that's a standard formula. You might say, wow, if you're getting 10,000 and paying back 15 or 20, that's a lot of money. That's true. But what you're also getting is somebody who now can hire a great attorney because they have the money in advance, or can make the mortgage payment to keep the property out of foreclosure, or can pay the property taxes to avoid those penalties, or can afford to get the proper help to remove a squatter from a property. That's a big one, because some properties will sell for $400,000 with some meth head dealer in your house squatting in it and turning it into a hellhole. But if you get them out, I've literally had the same house sell for $600,000. Well, that takes time and money. You have to get the right legal help to get the squatter out. You have to have expenses, maybe some walking money, cash to get them out. And most people don't have that money. And so this is a methodology that will help them. So probate advances are kind of like payday loans. They're expensive. You don't want to need them. But if you're in a position where it can work for you, you can make an investment by advancing some money to make more in the long run, you want to do that. Now that's if you're a family member. As a real estate agent, we use advances, I do, to help customers get the right legal help for the case, or to get the right expenses for the case. Attorneys use it as well to pay for their fees or for other expenses that they can't afford to advance. Now, keep in mind, this is a powerful tool. Like all powerful tools, it's risky. And it's kind of like a gun or a power tool. I don't know how to use a power tool. I don't even know how to use a hammer. To be honest, the pictures behind me, when I need something hung, I call my son-in-law and I point to the toolbox and ask for help. I don't even know how to do that. But I imagine a power tool is dangerous. I imagine a power sander is dangerous. But these are powerful tools that can be used and turned on people if they're not used right, and have been abused, have been used to there are people very poor who advance money and get addicted to advance and overspend and misspend. That's not what this is for. And I would urge you as a professional to help your customers improve their lives, help them get I've gotten customers life-changing money by getting an advance versus them blowing it and ending up with nothing. Okay, so that is what the probate advance is. Any questions on that so far? I know I talk quickly and I sometimes mumble, and I'm excited about this topic. Do you guys get, I love this topic? Does it come across? I love it because I think it's a wide open area. There's not much competition in it. And I think importantly, it's a chance for us to help our customers. Where is everybody's video? Good question, Donna. Where is everybody's video? Let me just say, for those who don't know, the more money you make, the more you participate in life, the more money you make. The more you give to other people, the more you get. Thumbs up to Julia and Donna for participating. That's why I put myself on the line with these videos. I could record it and play it, but I don't think it's as live, interactive, and valuable as interacting as a human being. So if you want to make more money, turn on the camera, ask some questions, participate, and let's make this participative. I know I say, hey, Claire Monique, there you go. There's some eye candy for the guys.
Hello, Bill.
What is up, lady?
Not much. You're very kind.
Thank you. Thank you. And you're in Arizona, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I know this works in Arizona. I've worked with attorneys in Arizona that use this product for sure. I was on a mastermind call with them to help them. And Kathy Ryan, welcome. Where I see you're the XP. Where are you located?
I am in the Temecula Valley, Menifee, Marietta.
Oh, now you're just bragging. Temecula Valley. I used to do new homes in construction was Rancho, California.
I'm close to the wineries.
Very nice. You take balloon rides?
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's the problem with Temecula people. All they do is they're up in balloons drinking wine and get altitude sickness and get drunk. So, well, thanks for coming and turning on the camera and participating with us. I appreciate it. So again, this is ideal for. So that's what the advance is. Any questions on what the product is? And I'll tell you a couple things. I've identified I think the list originally was 28 companies that have done this product, and 5 of them I know are out of business based on emails being returned, phone calls not working. I can also tell you that I've contacted every one. Of all the companies, one engages with real estate agents. The other ones really want to stay off the radar. They'll take a lead if you give it to them. I've interviewed one of the other companies. I've interviewed one several times, Probate Cash, great company. There's a second one I've interviewed once, but they really don't want, the other ones don't want to talk about their business, which always tells me there's an opportunity there. When somebody wants to keep something secret, to me, that's a clue that there's margin there. There's opportunity there. Okay, so that's what a probate advance is, number one. Number two is, how's it work? So obviously it's kind of simple, right? Somebody has an asset in, now the concept of advancing people money is no different than any other business. There's businesses that are called, I'm blank on it, where they'll advance you money, they'll buy your like notes receivable. I had a business one, factoring, very common in the clothing industry, where you get an order from, say, Nordstrom's, and you buy shirts, and it costs you $5 to make. You sell them to Nordstrom's for $20, and those companies will advance you because Nordstrom's may not pay you for 60 days. They'll advance you when you ship your income or your money from a company. I once had a business where we were importing electronics from Korea before Korean companies were well known. When LG was Lucky Gold Star, nobody knew who they were, before Samsung was known. And they were manufacturing electronics for Japanese companies. And so they actually made JVC memory chips. They made Panasonic memory chips. They made the different Japanese company brands. And engineers knew that. And so what we could do is buy the Korean product and sell it to our companies in America and make a discount. And so we had an order once, it seemed like all the money in the world for, we could buy the chips for $100,000, and we had a contract from a major company for $200,000. But we didn't have the $100,000 to buy the chips and ship them. It took about 45 days to get paid. We found a factoring company that basically put up the money, and they were our partners, and they got $50,000, we got $50,000. It was a great deal, and it started kind of a string of orders with us and got our credit going. So factoring is an age-old business, and this is nothing more than factoring. A company will look at the amount that's receivable and say, well, that's a good asset. As real estate agents, there's companies that do that, commission advances, same concept. They'll look at your commission due, they'll look at the escrow, they'll look at the contingencies, and if you have a $20,000 commission due, they might give you $5,000 or $10,000 and collect the rest. So that's how it works. Obviously, in probate, same thing. You're looking for a family that has an asset and has a need for money. Now, what I'll say is you want to find people who need the money. What you don't want to do is sell people who don't need the money. It's a tough sell. So, and Julie, no, you don't have to have a real estate license at all. This is not required to have a real estate license. That's the beauty of it. In fact, I work with investors, wholesalers who aren't agents as a way to get their business going in real estate. We're investors. So how does it work? You find a party that needs it, and then you have to either underwrite and figure out, are they worthy or not, and then bring it to the vendor. What I've created is my own company. So I have an advance sheet. You fill out some basic information. Maybe we call you back and ask you some details, and then we shop it. We've worked with and closed deals with 4 different advance companies. My goal is to work with all of them. Because what I found was when I would get a customer and I would work hard and take them to an advance company, kind of like doing business with Bank of America. Unless you have a relationship with them, if a customer walks into B of A and says, hey, I want a home loan, B of A will look at it and say, no, you don't qualify. Thank you. Have a nice life. I remember when I first applied for a home loan years ago, well, a long time ago, 1985, the bank just said, yeah, give us a check for an appraisal fee, and we'll tell you if you qualify. And I said, you can't tell me if I qualify without appraising the property? And they said, no. And I said, well, it doesn't make any sense at all. So what we do here is what I'm going to do is give you opportunity if you want to work as an affiliate in the Fermi cases, and you can see how one works and then decide if you want to take the mastermind to get qualified to get paid as an affiliate. But what I do is I find people who have a need, and I basically fill out the same input form. I give it to my virtual assistant, and then we have companies that we shop this to and get back within 24 hours a commitment. And I would say 9% of the time they'll come back and say, yeah, we can get you, $10,000, and the cost is about $20,000 out a year or two, and there's their standard format. So you're looking for people who need money, and the most common case is they can't afford an attorney, or they're an heir and somebody else filed the case. They don't need an attorney to file the case, but they need an attorney to advise them so they don't get ripped off by their bad brother or sister or whoever. And so, again, I'll give you all a link at the end of this. If you have a lead, or if ever you have one, I can send you a link again to fill in if you have a probate case that needs some money to get an attorney or has an heir that needs somebody. And it's still your lead. I'm not going to take your buyer or your seller from you, but it's a way we can help you get some advance money. Now, I'll be honest, again, full transparency, many realtors say, I don't really know how to list property in probate, and we end up partnering with them or doing a referral fee. The reason I joined eXp Realty is we're a national company. I have colleagues like Kathy on the call around the country. I have 83,000 good friends who will help us list property in all 50 states and 23 countries. So I can help if there's a probate in another area as well and work with you. So it doesn't have to be that way, and I'm not going to steal it. And my reputation is pretty obvious at this point. If you trust me, great. If you don't, I'm okay with that. So again, you can go forward as an agent and just send me the lead and I'll take care of it for you. And you can use the money with your client to get the attorney's fee. Or if you want to be in the mastermind, you can get certified to be an affiliate and get paid a small commission on it. If you're an affiliate, you get on a $10,000 advance, you get $500. You get 5% of the money advanced. If you work with me as an investor wholesaler and you find your own commission, I sign you up as an affiliate, you get 5%, which is, again, $500 on a $10,000 advance. These things go very quickly. Once you've identified a customer, the process is underwriting. It takes about 24 hours to figure out, is there a case here or not? The Federal Express out paperwork. If the customer signs it, it has to be notarized. You can either send a notary there. I've done that if it's my listing. Or ask the customer to go to a FedEx office. The documents come back and they fund it in a day or two and you get your commission a day or two after that. In my experience is many go within 10 days. Sometimes the customer dilly-dallies around and it takes longer. Great question, Julia. Thanks for asking that. I didn't even think to answer that. Okay, so that's how it works. Any questions on how it works? We're going to go in a little more deep, but step by step. One, what is it? We talked about it. Two, how does it work? Any questions on that? You following me on this? Is it interesting? Okay. Number three, why use professional? I think I said that, which is, there's a saying in sales, hungry dogs hunt best. I'm a hungry dog. I'm building a business. Now, I'll be honest with you. I don't need to work. I could live a very, very, very modest life with an unhappy wife on the money I have already in my life. I'm 63 years old, but I want to live a bigger life. And so if you know the concept of financial freedom, or if you know Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad, once you have financial freedom, you're able to live on your residual income and your passive income. Then your business becomes about adding more to the pile that generates that residual to have a bigger life. That's the stage of my life. But I'm hungry because I only have so many years left to do that. My wife and I have our first grandkid. So I'm out building my business every single day. I work at it 40 hours a week, intensely. That's why I do these phone calls. And so rather than just tell you, well, here's a list of companies you can go to, and that was my experience, they don't really care about your deal. To them, you're just a $10,000 advance. To me, my commission check is a $25,000 commission check. Who's going to give better service, me or the probate advance company? If it's my listing, obviously me. And if you're an agent I'm working with, we're splitting the listing. It's half my listing, and my part of the job when we split these deals, most commonly, my agent partner will handle the property, the open house, the showings. I handle the probate advance, the attorney, and the legal stuff. Well, that's my job. That's how I get paid. So obviously, I'm more motivated to give good service to you and the customer in the probate advance company. So I set my own because I wasn't happy with the service I got. And that's why I launched this program, because I was looking for a company to help me, and they just do what they do and weren't really, I don't think, in a position to help offer the service and the training to team members that I think you guys need.
Bill?
Okay, yes.
Yeah, I came on late, so I apologize for not being able to hear anything up till now, but I do have a question. So the person who's asking for the money, they pay it back through the closing of their property, right?
No, through the closing of the probate.
Yeah, the probate.
As opposed to
they're
property.
selling their house.
Right, I'm in particular, but where do you, Deborah, where do you do business?
Ohio.
Okay, so I can't speak to a house specifically, but in general, you can sell the house, but you'll still close the probate out for another 90 days, 6 months, could be a year or two. So again, just be precise. They don't get paid when the house sells. They get paid when the probate closes after the house sells.
Yes, I understand. Yeah, okay.
It's an important distinction because I've had clients who sold property and money sits there for 2 years.
Right. Okay. And this is your company?
So I've created my own probate advance company. Basically, I'm like a probate advance broker.
Mhm.
And sometimes I'll advance the money in my own pocket, because if I know the attorney and it's my deal, why not? I
Okay.
know everybody. I have control of it. If it's somebody else's customer, I probably am not as likely to, because I'm not talking to the customer. I don't feel as confident. But I work with other companies that I've brokered these deals to. So I take it directly to them. They'll say yes or no, and they'll do the documents, and I'll work and manage that process if you want me to. Now, I will say you're certainly welcome to take this call and learn and research on your own and find the companies on your own if you want to. The challenge is most agents don't do enough to justify that kind of investment of time. I'm doing enough deals where it made sense for me to say, this isn't a very good experience for me or my customers. How can we make it better? And one answer was, let's have some competition. And also, let me get some friends of mine, realtors, maybe you, we do business together and kind of pool our business. We'll have a little more clout than if it's just each of us individually on our own.
Okay. I see.
But yeah, it is my company. I broker, but I'm offering you the education you can do on your own. I'm also offering, if you want to be an affiliate with me, where you can get paid. So I said in the beginning, I'm going to give an overview today. We're going to wrap up here shortly. This is all recorded.
Mhm.
I'm going to do an overview today. There's a mastermind for real estate agents that costs $249. We're going to detail on what I call the 4 modules. I'm going to cover those 4 modules in just a second. Okay? You don't have to take the mastermind. Hopefully this call, you come back every week, and I'll do this almost every week. I'm going to do it next week. I skip
Okay.
it in 2 weeks because I'm off for vacation. Okay?
All right, thanks.
Sure. Okay, so continuing. Love the questions. Any other questions before I go on? So the market's quiet. Why don't you hear about this? Because I think these companies, number one, they were under a fear of regulation. They were afraid to be regulated as lenders, which would cut the rates they could offer. They probably would have gone out of business because they have to have a high rate. It sounds, wow, 50%, 100%, that's a lot. But there's no other loan that goes through court. And literally a judge could just say, no, I'm not going to allow that charge, and it disappears. That doesn't happen in any other business. And so it is a high rate, but I do think, having done research, in most cases it's justified. Are they a hard money lender? Not really. Again, this isn't a lender. They don't have a license as a lender. They might also do hard money lending. They might also own a hard money lender. They typically do other advanced work like factoring. Usually what they'll do is they'll advance commissions to realtors or attorneys or things like that, but they're generally not in the real estate space. They're generally financial companies. Okay, so I want to get on. That's why it's quiet, and because they're afraid of. And I got to tell you, I found some. I did a lot of research on this. I found some legal review papers on this, some consumer report reviews a few years ago, but it's a very quiet topic. There's not a lot of information on. So I want to explain to you. Yes.
Can I ask a question, Stana?
Yeah.
Can you give an actual? I'm more like visual, so like, can you give a scenario of exactly like how, like step by step, how you would, like, why would you come to this decision? Is it similar to whether when you have a probate situation, whether you're going to list the house versus you're going to buy the house? You're giving them 2 different options, like Chad taught us,
Right.
way back when. Is
Right.
it, and in that situation, you also find out they don't have the means to actually keep the house going until they actually close probate. Can you give us a scenario, please?
There's 2 most common cases. The most common case number 1 is son or grandson or daughter inherit a property. Mom, dad had it and died, or grandma and grandpa had it, and I've been living here for I've had it for 10, 20 years. We're renting it. Or mom had it, she just passed away. I don't want to live in the house because, for whatever reason, it's a different state. I live somewhere else with my family, and I have this house, and it's worth $400,000, $800,000. It needs to be fixed up because mom was there during her dying years, and it's dilapidated. It needs work. It needs to be trashed out. But like many Americans, I only have $400 in the bank. I don't have the money to hire an attorney. An attorney wants to do a probate for this, $5,000, $10,000 advance. I don't have it. And because of that, I've been talking to attorneys and asking them if they'll take it on contingency, and they'll all say, yeah, but they want a deposit of $1,000 or $2,000. I really don't have it. I could put in a credit card. I don't want to do that. So there's some people who will choose to do it on their own. Big mistake. Will take them forever to get done in most states. But people use low-cost options. If it's a simple case, it might work, but many people still can't even get that done, in my experience. And so here's an answer where you'd say, listen, you're going to get life-changing money. You're going to get $400,000 or $600,000 when this probate closes. Why don't you take $10,000 advance now? It's going to cost you $20,000 2 years from now. but get a great attorney, the right attorney to help you the case. They'll cover all your expenses, all your fees and the attorney, and they'll run it through the rest of the way. And I know the attorney because I work with them, and that way you don't have to pay for him, and that's what his fees are or her fees, and we'll get this thing done. That's the most common case. And second, just one second, Kathy, I'll call you next. The second case is brother or sister call me in a panic. I talk to them and say, you know, my brother filed for probate. He's a bad guy. He's a drug dealer. His girlfriend's evil, and they're going to cut me out of this. I really want an attorney to watch the paperwork and make sure I'm taking advantage of. I call that riding shotgun. I want an attorney to ride shotgun for me. And there was a case I had where there was $1 million property, and she was entitled to half of it, $500,000. And you could say, hey, you're not going to get screwed. The system will protect you. She couldn't sleep at night. She was so nervous. And for a $10,000 advance, $20,000 out of her inheritance, $500,000 that she was afraid she'd lose, I got a world-class attorney to ride shotgun to make sure that she's being taken care of along the way. And she didn't have to write a check for that. Those are two common use cases. Kathy.
I have a situation where it's a trust property, and he did speak to an attorney. The problem is that the signed trust is missing. So the attorney was going to, it's with $9,600 to have the attorney take it to court and certify the trust.
Right.
Would that be a situation that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I think in most states, you said you're in Ohio, in most states, well,
California.
that's not California. So in California, in LA County, all of those kind of title problems are handled in probate court. It's not a probate, it's a trust, but really it's the same as a probate, because you're saying, well, there's no trust, but will the court use this trust that's unsigned as evidence of what the decedent wanted? And if so, then it gets changed. So yeah, it costs $10,000. Most people don't have $10,000 lying around. I do. It wouldn't cause me a problem if I had to. And if I'm gonna get a house at the end, great. I would do that all day long. Most people don't have it or can't afford to spend it. And so this is the way they can get a great attorney, the right attorney. That's the key. The right attorney to represent them, not just the one who will take it on the cheap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this, I referred him to Shoup, which Andrea Shoup.
I don't know Andrea Shoup.
I think she was on one of your programs.
Oh my gosh.
Was she Shoup Law? I thought.
Where's she out of?
Temecula.
It's possible. My gosh. Oh, how embarrassing.
I thought that's where because I watch you all
It
the
sounds
time.
familiar. It sounds
Yeah.
familiar. Andrea, she's an attorney?
Yeah,
Attorney,
Shoup Law.
YouTube.com.
Oh, that's
Gosh,
okay.
how embarrassing if it's true. I'm looking at a picture of her. I guess it's possible. You know, a lot of things are possible. I don't think so though, but okay. But that's exactly how it works. That's exactly
Okay.
what I do.
Great. I'll be calling you. Thank you.
Good. Thank you. Okay. So that's why the business is a bit quiet. So number 5 there's 4 modules that I have identified, 4 use cases of people who would use this product. And more importantly, 3 others, if you're one of those 4, most of us fall into one of those 4, how to teach the other 3 to use the product to generate business for you. Meaning we're real estate agents. Again, this call is identified for realtors, not to say if you're not, you should get off, because you can kind of hear the same story basically. But if you're a real estate agent, I will teach you how to use it as a real estate agent, the way I use it. But I also use it myself with my clients, just like Kathy and I had that discussion. But then I also am teaching this product to my investor wholesalers, and teaching it to attorneys, and teaching it to families as a way to generate more business for me. So I do both. How do I use it? And then how do they use it to be successful? So the 4 modules are realtor, investor wholesaler, attorney, and personal representative. And what you want to learn is both how to use it if you're as one of those 4. And so when I do the mastermind, we're going to go deep in one session on each of those 4 methods. We're going to spend just 30 minutes just on what to do as a realtor or as an attorney or as a family or as an investor wholesaler, how to use it. But more than that, you're going to learn how to use it as one of those identities, and then how to teach other people to use it if they are that identity. My goal is to end up with the ability to I'm going to create video that I'll send to my attorneys and send to my investor wholesalers and send to my personal reps and send to my realtor network. And then they'll also do the same thing. And that we'll all be able to help people, both ourselves, how to build our business, and more importantly, teach our referral sources how to build their business as well. So that's what I call kind of the buy and for. How do you use it, by yourself, and how do you use it for other people in other business? So Julia is what I call, she's an investor or wholesaler. She's not a realtor. Learning how realtors could use this. She could take this product, go to other realtors, offer that as a service. If they call her with a lead and they have a property, bingo, now she has a realtor giving her some a lead on a probate advance, and theoretically a property that she can choose to invest in or flip or whatever it is she's doing, wholesale it. So again, and at the end of this, the process, you have an option that you can do on your own and get commissions. Some companies pay 10% commission. In fact, the one that I offer pays me 10, and I'm offering 5 to people to sign up with me. And I'm not saying that's the best deal forever. I'm saying do one with me. Let me teach you the business, or 2, and if you decide you like it, do it on your own. I'm fine training my competition. The more the merrier. I'm glad to see this product work, and we'll all win together. But I do think that you need help in the first one, and that's why I've set the system I have. So just to kind of give you a quick, high-level points, as a realtor, I think it's obvious. Either we talk to customers, we find out they have a problem in probate, or as Kathy said, a trust case. And the problem they have is they have the money to get the right legal advice. They even identify a great attorney that costs them money, and we can solve that problem for them. That's the most common use case for real estate agents. For investor wholesalers, if you're driving for dollars, calling brokers, you find out there's a problem with somebody who has title, usually the title problem, probate's the solution. And so they might say, well, my father was married with somebody else as well. And so while, I have half the ownership, and this is a common use case, there's a half ownership that's, with some other ex-wife. And so we need to, and she doesn't want to sell, I want to sell. So there's something called a partition action where you force them to sell. And then also a probate, that piece might have to be probate as well. So I have a case where literally we had to do both a probate and a partition action to get those legal fees in advance. It came from an investor to me. Attorneys, I think, should be using this in their business as well. I'm surprised how few attorneys know about it. I think if you're marketing to attorneys and you're a real estate agent, this is a product you can bring to them. If you're not comfortable the first couple of times, I'd be glad to talk to them about it. I've done video, like I said, with Rylas Dana and other attorneys that I've posted, and we'll do the modules as well for attorneys. And then for personal reps, I think it's something you should talk to them about. And again, in a sensitive way, that this isn't about ripping them off or overcharging them. This is a very high margin product that for a very targeted person will give them great results. And so as long as you're focused on that, then it's a great product. So those are the 4 modules. And then in the actual mastermind, starting tomorrow, we're going to go deep on each of those 4. We're going to do 1 session on each of the 4, as well as at the end, you'll end up with an affiliate link. You'll be approved as affiliate with me, get commission of 5%, and you'll have a lead input sheet that you can send your clients that will bring leads in, and then they'll be able to help you with your business. Okay, questions? I've covered kind of the 4 modules kind of overview. Can you imagine how they can all work? Anybody unclear on how those might work for somebody? Julia. I think you're not talking to us or something. I can't hear you. I'm sorry. I can't.
She's muted.
Yeah. No, but there's something on her microphone's not working. Kathy, you had your hand up.
What happens if they can't pay that back through the sale of a home or, the probate and all that? What happens then?
One of the benefits to the prospect, to the customer, is it's non-recourse. By definition, unlike a loan, if they can't pay it back, the company's taking the risk. If they can't pay it back because there's not enough money at the end, or there's other errors that pop up, or they're not really entitled to any of the money, maybe there's no will, then all of a sudden out of the blue, there shows up to be a will and they don't get it. That's why they should move quickly. Because my experience is, there's nothing, it's like in real estate. There's nothing good that happens from the day you list a property until the day it closes. There's nothing good in probate from the day you file until the day it closes and you get paid. And the longer it's open, the more chances. And what happens is, if you think about family, the longer family is talking in many dysfunctional families, the worse it's going to get. It's a matter of time till somebody objects. And so to your point, that's why they want to move quickly. They want to get a great attorney, file, and move quickly to get the thing executed. Even if you have full authority, in California, there's a notice of proposed action that if there's multiple errors, either you get them all to sign off on it and agree to it in writing, or you file it with the court and you wait 15 days. And I tell people, wait till your loan is approved, all contingencies, and you're ready to close, and file it then. and just hope that it gets through. And there'll be people who will object on day 16 through 30. It's too late at that point. The title company closes and it's insured transaction. So great point, but they have no recourse against the customer. If the company advances when they shouldn't, that's the risk, and that's why it's not a loan. Okay. Julia, were you able to figure out, are you available? You have a question? Okay, I'm gonna talk later.
Okay. Okay. Oh, there is a question in the chat. I wanted to ask a question. Go ahead.
Oh, are public court cases a good place to find leads? Julia, I'd say this, that I'm in LA County. I think we talked about this yesterday. LA County is the attendance is about 10% of what it was pre-COVID. There's not as many people there, but the few who are there. So I would say there are people there. Of course, you have to get downtown. You got to park. For some people, that's expensive and time consuming. So you have to factor all that in and then judge how many leads you get per hour while you do that. It could be in other courts that are more open and more well attended, and there's more people. There's a richer target opportunity. So to find leads, actually, I work with investors. If you're interested, you and I can have a conversation, and I'd be glad to. If you're not a real estate agent competing with me in LA, I'd be glad to sign you on as an investor wholesaler and give you the data and teach you how to make the phone calls and to generate the business that way, if that's something you're interested in doing. If you're in Southern California, LA, Orange, San Bernardino, Riverside, and even San Diego, okay? So I'm going to give you a link if you're interested, Julia, or anybody here who's interested in meeting with me. You can reach out to me and just call or have a one-on-one. But here's a link in the chat box to set up an appointment. And particularly if you want to sign on as a cold caller, or if you're an investor, you're doing cold calling, and this is something you would add to your mix, I'd be glad to talk about it. Okay.
Bill, I have a question again.
Sure, Deborah.
This is Deborah. Do you file a mechanic's lien against the property so that they just don't like go away and without paying? Because I didn't understand that part about paying.
Sure. Well, and again, I'm sorry, Deborah, forgive my memory, but where are you located again?
Ohio?
Yeah. So I can't speak to Ohio specifically. I can tell you California. First off, in the Mastermind program, I'm going to give you samples of the documents the companies file. So there's a form there, the customer signed an agreement, and it gets filed in the probate case file. It doesn't get filed against the property. It's not a mechanic's lien because there's no mechanic involved, and it's not a les pendens because it's not a lawsuit against the estate. But in the probate case, there are, in California and in most states, there's interested parties, so they'll file, so they get notified of any part of the case, any hearings or any paperwork, they'll get notified of it. And then they file with the probate case this debt, I'm sorry, not debt, this lien. And so as the probate goes on, they collect, how much do we owe for taxes, how much do we owe lenders, how much do we owe other parties. All the creditors get paid before the beneficiaries get their distribution. So it's filed with a probate file in California. In Ohio, I don't know the answer. I'd love to meet an Ohio probate attorney and ask those kinds of questions. If you have one, I'd be glad to interview them on my channel. If it helps promote your business, I'd love to do it. But I don't know specifically in Ohio.
Yeah, there's a lady that I've been trying to talk to about. Her family has been telling me about the situation because they're like brother or sister of the girl's parents. And she has an attorney, but she won't move. She's just like waiting for the house to be taken. And she might be something for this. This might help her. I don't know, but I have to get in to talk to her, and she's very elusive.
Mm-hmm.
But the house is in a great neighborhood. The house needs some work, and it needs a good trash out from what I'm hearing. But she won't talk to me for real. I mean, she's very polite. She'll say hello, but when it comes down to taking care of some business, then she backs away. But anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the challenge is always getting people's attention. I heard one of my coaches is Grant Cardone. He said, even if your product was the best in the business and you gave away for free, it takes 10 times more work than you would imagine to get it sold. And I think that's true. I think, unfortunately, I think it's just definitely true that it just takes, people are busy, they're distracted, and getting attention is the challenge. Okay, so if you're interested now, I'm going to do this every week, almost every week. I'm going to do it next week. I'm not going to do it the week after. We have to skip one. But I want to share with you, if you're interested in participating in the mastermind for real estate agents or investors, we're going to take each of those 4 modules and go deep 30 minutes on each one to really put this into action. And I'm going to share with you exactly what I do step by step. I'll offer you the opportunity to sign on with me as an affiliate. So I'll actually handle your cases for you if you want to. There's no contract. You don't have to do it forever, but you can sign on and benefit from it a few times. And an input lead sheet. So it's going to start Thursday, tomorrow, 2 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Eastern. There's 4 sessions. In fact, that's the dates. It's not coaching. We're really installing content. So I'm not going to be about accountability or you make your phone calls or not. I assume you're paying for this. And if you want to participate, you're going to do your own work. I should put the prices it was $4.99, and if you're on this call and you listen through what we talk about, it's $2.49. It's 8 to 12. It's limited to 10 people. We have a private Facebook group for this group only, and then for future groups that do this, you've got a lead intake form. You get approved as an affiliate. So if you talk to somebody on the phone, they're interested, you fill out the form. I tell you we can get them approved. I kind of take it over from there. You'll get 5%. So again, it's about $500 on a $10,000 deal. And I want to tell you, if all you do is call people for 4 hours a day in a week, 20 hours, I think you get one. I think you should expect to get one. It might take you a week or 2 to get the motion going. But I think you can generate $500 a week pretty quickly if you just made those phone calls. And I'm not saying that's all the money in the world. I want you to think of this as paid lead generation, that not only do you have the $500, but you have a customer and you have the details and you know who the attorney is, you know either you're the realtor or who the realtor is, you have the inside track on this property. And so I want you to think about, rather than paying money to be in the lead generation business, buying data and getting a dial and all that, this is a way to generate revenue while you generate business. That's how I look at it. Sample forms that you'll get, and so you'll be familiar with the forms to understand how they work. 100% money back guarantee. If you're on all 4 calls, not happy, just email me. I'll refund your money. I want happy people. I don't want unhappy people. You'll get a list of all the vendors. There's 25 still in business I've identified. And the last thing I just want to say, it's not a get rich quick. It's a business on how to build your business. It's a business on how you build your business, not me teaching you how to build my business. And again, if after doing 1 or 2 of these, you decide to do this on your own, couldn't be happier. Just say thank you, tell other people about it, and let's work together and do some business together. Okay, I did a lot of talking. I appreciate the questions. Any other questions? I'm going to put in the link. Where is it? I'm going to sign up. It's here. Simple. If you want to sign up, just fill out the link page and you will get registered. Any other questions? And you don't have to. I'm fine with you guys coming every week to this call and helping you guys build your business. Okay. Well, Donna, thank you from Phoenix, Arizona. Always a pleasure. And the rest of you as well. I'm going to wrap up, I guess. This is recorded, and we'll put this onto YouTube. If you have any questions, if I can help in any way, I'm Bill Gross, the LA Probate Expert. In fact, let me put my contact in the chat. Let's see here. Bill Gross. I presume that by now you have my email and phone number and contact info, but just in case you don't. And then my best email is bill, at the LAProbateExpert.com. And this program is called GetProbate.Cash. Do it every Wednesday at 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. And if you have questions, call me if I can help in any way. Thanks, everybody.